Hi guys, it's Shivangani again from Feather and Bone. Hope you're all doing well. I had a really fun weekend. I was just in Seattle this weekend. I went to support a friend of mine who got married, and I was wearing makeup, and I noticed that every time I wear makeup I get these insane pimples and zits. Sorry, the camera's the other way. So that's not fun. I don't know how many of you have that problem, but I definitely do. So anyway, so I know we started last week and I kind of gave you my whole story, and I hope it was interesting and hope you could relate. So I know that I mentioned that this week I would talk about labels, but I've actually decided to change that and we'll talk about it next week. But this week we're going to talk about something really interesting that I learned last week. So in the middle of the week, I went to this really fun trade show. Not fun, interesting. Well, it was kind of fun. Called New York Suppliers Day, where basically you get to meet companies that provide you with all of your raw materials for making your beauty products and all that, formulations and all that stuff. And what was interesting was I actually thought that it was going to be all companies that sell you just raw materials, and a good percentage of it was like it's about maybe 50-ish%. And by the way, in case you're wondering, we're really, really picky. Well, I'm really picky. Feather and Bone's really picky with where we source our ingredients from. So I actually work directly with very specific companies to source all of our materials. So everything's really good quality, because that's really important. But anyway, so about 50-ish%, maybe a bit less, were companies that were selling you the raw materials. So the pure powders, waxes, the oils, and whether it's beeswax or whatever it is. And the other 50-ish% were companies that had already developed the formulas that you can then make your own. So basically, you'd go to a company and say, hey, look, I want to make a moisturizer, or I want to make a body wash or skincare product, and they'd have the formula all ready for you, and you would just tweak it with a few ingredients or um, perfumes or whatever it is that you wanted, put your branding on it, and then the product would be ready. And what was interesting to me was that a few years ago, or sort of something that I'd heard a couple of times from formulists or cosmetologists, that many of the larger companies actually all share the same formula, but people just aren't aware of it because of branding. And I always thought that was, yeah, maybe, possibly, sort of makes sense. Chips are sort of made the same way. There is branding, or whatever you take. But this was actually really true. So let me sort of show you a few examples. So this is this is lanolin, which you can use for lip balms and stuff like that. Let me pull it up so you can see it a bit better. And that's it. I mean, that's really it. And you just basically then brand it for yourself. Another example would be petroleum, which is used like in Vaseline and stuff like that. And it just comes. So these are free samples that I got, which was interesting. Another one that was really popular that you might see tons in the market is jojoba beads. It's like the new big thing. That was a big thing. But then these little things. So these are beads that. Ooh, let me figure out my camera. So these are little beads, and then basically when you press the button, it foams up. That also can be used as a moisturizer. So this might be. So if you look at this, if I this not foam up actually, so it shows that this doesn't work. Oh, so there you see a little bit of foam. And then you just rub it on, and it does your entire moisturizing, and it's gone. Let me rub it a bit more. Seems like I got a lot on. But they also have these in liquids, and so basically you just squirt this on. The beads become all liquidy, and then you can just rub it on there, which is kind of neat. But what was interesting was that there were so many other companies that were doing this. It's quite big in the Korean market and such. I'm like trying to hide the company, the Korean market and stuff. And it was rather interesting about this, but it I think that's useful for you, the consumer, when you're buying your product and you're trying to say, oh well, this brand's really great because I've heard these things about it, or their products are really good. But I think it's important to understand that. So I hope this was helpful. Next week, it's a good segue into labels. And let me know if you guys have any comments. Thanks. Bye.